Hello, this is Mike from Dimensional Walking, and today I'm going to title my episode UFOs, Aliens, Its Religious Leaders. Okay? So I'm going to do this is going to be a two-part series, I think, and it's going to be the people that have been inspired by something or someone to venture beyond mainstream, in some cases, quite far beyond mainstream and present radical views on the possibility of the existence of aliens and UFOs. Uh, these people that I'm going to talk about have developed what would I say, a loyal cult-like following, or maybe even we'll call it a mini religious type movement. Um, so today I want to talk about a guy named Daniel William Frye. And he was born in July 1908 in Vernon Township in Minnesota. Both of his parents died early, and then his grandmother raised him in California. And as a young man, he was interested in chemistry and other sciences, and he settled on working on explosives. And of course, we're talking about he was born in 1918, so dynamite and explosives came in their own in the 1920s. So he seemed to use that knowledge to start working on another one of his careers was rocketry. And he worked for a company called Aerojet, and they had a facility in White Sands, New Mexico. Okay, I've been to White Sands, very interesting place. If you ever get to go to White Sands. It's quite a place to see. So, anyways, but then he was at White Sands, and in July 4th, I think it was 1949. He would have been, I think, about 41 years old, and it was a really hot day, and it's always pretty much in the summertime a hot day in New Mexico. But anyway, so he couldn't stay in his barracks and or wherever he was on the base. I don't know if he lived in barracks, he may have lived in some other type of housing. But anyways, he wanted to cool off. So one of the best places in New Mexico to cool off if you want to go up on a high desert uh, area. Those high desert areas can either be from 5 to 10,000 feet high. So it does cool quite a few degrees if you go up on a high desert region. So that's where he did. He went up in this high desert region, and he claims that he saw a small, kind of spherical object. We'll call it a flying saucer, basically. And he said it was remotely controlled from a mothership about 900 miles above Earth. And Daniel was invited aboard this particular UFO, and by a being called Alon, although sometimes Daniel refers to it as Alan. Okay, so anyways, he picked him up. This guy named Alan picked him up and sent him or took him basically to the mothership, and the mothership within 30 minutes was from New Mexico to New York City. Not sure, never could find out why he went to New York City precisely, but and Daniel had quite a few of these type of trips around the world with this same being called Alan or Elon, and anyways, he taught Daniel all kinds of unknown human history and all kinds of new sciences. Okay, so Daniel took that information and he formed kind of a group, and his group was called Understanding. Okay, it became so popular that they had like 60 units or groups of international status all around the world. And they would give lectures and they would talk about the wisdom and the knowledge that Daniel had gotten. They did lectures, they did meetings, they did a lot of this information through newsletters. And his mission with all of this was to prepare humans for the eventual meeting of these aliens that were coming at a future date. And that's what it was. That's the whole. That is the whole synopsis, or what the word understanding is to understand these alien beings that were coming, and that was his purpose. That was his mission. So I guess my question is then, was this a cult / religion? Daniel always denied it was. There was a lot of people who would ask that question, right? But one of the things that was interesting was that a lot of the meetings, the beginning of the meetings and the end of the meetings, kind of had a lot of material from Alice Bailey. And she was, as some of you may know, she was considered, I guess, the queen of the galactic channeling. She channeled all kinds of different beings. But there was a lot of articles and other things I'd read about this Daniel Frye. And a lot of them really, really felt strongly about this guy, that he was a very honest guy. He really didn't ask for any type of money or anything. He just wanted to get the information out there. And so I guess the last question on this would be, did this alien give Daniel the ride of his life? Or was this just Daniel, because of his interest in his dreams and rocketry, simply fuel his imagination? Who knows? I mean, he had some really a great amount of followers that really believed that he was the real thing, basically. One last note: Daniel would every year attend a meeting at the Giant Rock in California. And of course, this Giant Rock was hosted by a guy named George Van Tassel. And that is the next guy we're going to talk about in part 2. So, we're in this part, and I always say sleep very tight and dream well. And Earth is just a brief stop on your infinite adventure. So, we'll see you next. Bye-bye.